Upon start. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, everyone is present and accounted for. Does anyone have a conflict of interest on the item on the agenda? Okay, move on to the consent agenda and all the treasurer's work here.
Move approval of the consent agenda. Second.
Favor? We have two sets of minutes. So the first is our regular select board meeting from December 16th, 24. Welcome to approve that.
Move to approve.
Yeah, is there a second? Second. Any comments on this?
Yeah, just a couple of corrections. Not that I mind deferring to Jane, but there were a couple of places where I know, excuse me, in regards to work of the administrative committee on the second page. Regarding the abatement and supplements, I think it was me who spoke to that. And, I think that's I will not argue. Oh, on page 5. Regarding the paid family leave comments, I believe those are mine as well. So those corrections.
When gets the credit, not Jane.
No, sorry.
Okay, all right. All right. All those in favor of the minutes as corrected? Correct. All right. We also had a special board meeting on December 19th to interview a town manager candidate. Minutes are included for that. Is there a motion to approve that? Move to approve. Thank you, Steve.
Second.
Seconded by Jane. And he comes back. All in favor of the meeting minutes from 19th? Thank you. Okay, we move on to we've received the State of Maine 2025 assessor's return from Scottsdale County Commissioners. It basically sets our county tax payment for the next year, which is $715,505, a 7% increase from last year. And our state valuation for Dover-Foxcroft was jumped by 58 million. I can remember working with the county and feeling embarrassed to send a bill for 400,000 to town. Now it's 700. Wasn't all that long ago, but everything's going up. We do have a assessor's warrant that's being passed around that we'll have to sign and send back to the county to show that we do intend to pay that. All right, so we do not have a, we don't have to vote on that because we got to pay it. There's only just 1 year Greenville declined to sign it and send it back to us on time. We sent a letter back to them saying that they stole the money and they would pay 5% interest on it. You know, given unless they did that. I mean, it's not right back.
Checks in the mail.
Yeah, checks in the mail. But you know, a little protest.
So Tom, just to be clear on that though, our opportunity for influencing that budget is through the people that represent Dover-Foxcroft on the.
Well, it's actually through the county commissioners themselves. You know, if we go there and if we express our displeasure, that should be given right to the elected officials rather than to non-elected advisory committee members.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of wiggle room.
And that's not an easy thing to do, just go to those meetings and be heard.
Right. You can be heard, but whether they're going to act.
You can go, but you're not always heard.
No, that's true. Especially the way it's composition now. Okay, so we'll sign that and get that out. We don't have a public hearing tonight, but we do have an open session for the public. We actually have some members of the public here. Anybody have any comments or questions for the select board? Hearing none, we'll move on to open session for select board members. Anybody have any comments that they'd like to share? Steve,
Just small update on the dam committee.
Mhm.
We've met twice since our last select board meeting, or at least once. We are moving ahead with preparing to do our, we're gonna do a public information meeting. I won't call it a hearing because it's officially a hearing. And that is, oh shoot.
February 4th.
Fourth. No, I better show up for it. It's February 4th. We have another meeting tomorrow night where we're going to be discussing, doing dry run on some of the materials that we'll be presenting. But we've got a pretty tight schedule for that.
That's a Tuesday night, Steve. Do you know where the venue's going to be?
It's gonna be, I think we're doing Central Hall. aren't we?
Central Hall?
Yeah, Central Hall. And I'll say this on, we covered all the, how to get the information out. We're gonna do a little bit more on that, but, this is just to apprise the public of where we're at, what we've been discussing. The one thing I wanted to let the board know is that we did come to a definitive conclusion. The committee voted, unanimously to not pursue hydro. This is the only thing we decided as a recommendation so far. And that was based on the Kleinschmidt report that our board approved and all the information going back many years. So, just wanted to let you know, we officially are going to recommend to the board when we're at the conclusion that we surrender the exemption and pursue that course of action. That's it.
Well, thank you, Steve, for serving on that along with Emery and Tracy too. And so it's been a long slog, but we're getting closer to the finish line, right? Anybody else on board have anything like to share tonight? I just want to make note that the building at 130 Pleasant Street has been demolished. And the lot is clean and looks really quite nice. That worked out very well, Brian, and the same people knocked down the building on Grange Street. So it's not, they do very good work. It's good to have them as part of our contractor list, and I would be happy to give them more work when we have other projects that require full depth. I did also want to mention, if you haven't seen Alice in Wonderland, put on by the kids at Sotomacha, of course, my granddaughter's in it, and but Rhonda Kirkpatrick's costumes are astounding. They really are the best I've seen for a production in a long time, outside of maybe Broadway or something like that.
She's a pro.
She really is very, very, very talented.
I echo that.
Yes, okay, yes, okay, and we saw that also.
I was happy to helping sell tickets.
Yeah.
And it sold out in about half an
Yeah.
hour. We had to run to get a few chairs and we had to.
A cast of
Well-
30+ kids, all
Yeah.
from the elementary grades at Sunmont, and
Well attended by the town.
yeah, even on a snowy Saturday, there was a lot of people. So, it's pretty cool to see our kids have the opportunity to pursue the dramatic arts. Okay. Any other comments from the board? Okay, no adjustments to the agenda needed tonight, Jack? Nope. All right, and committee reports, Steve spoke to the about the dam removal committee, and of course, we're in the middle of budget preparation. Jack has been meeting with the various committees along with the department heads of each, so protection has met a bunch of times, including to go over the EMS service changes, Ryan, and that's on the agenda later on in this meeting, along with the regular budget for fire and police. Public Works, Solid Waste, wastewater departments have also been going through the budgets, as has the administrative committee. So we're getting there, and I think it's every committee met except for promotion and development, which is later this month.
We have protection
Yeah.
and promotion development, both on the 21st, actually, back and back.
Yeah. So the plan to have that, all that review done by the end of this month is on target, and thank Jack for sticking around for another month to do that, get us set up. So, it's a-
What time are we meeting for promotion and development on the 21st at 6?
6.
Thank you.
Any unfinished business that anyone wants to bring up? Okay, we'll move on to the new business. The first is a liquor license renewal for the Mill Cafe on Main Street. All the paperwork is in order for that. And I don't believe that's been a hotbed of crimes of passion or overconsumption. Chief, has it?
No, we haven't had any concerns of overconsumption or anything like that. There've been some allegations that serving outside of their licensed area, but those have not come to bear. There's been no finding that they're doing that, but aside from that.
Yeah.
I just spoke with our local liquor enforcement agent, and he doesn't have any concerns.
I went there for dinner Saturday night, very nice space, and they're doing a good job, and that's nice to be able to go there and walk across the street to Center Theater and see a movie too, so.
What we want.
That passes for excitement, though. All right, so we need a motion to approve the license renewal.
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Second?
Comments? All those in favor? Vote. All right, we have some surplus equipment that we're disposing of through the bidding. Oh, no, excuse me, I guess I'm jumping ahead. We have a poll location permit. It's listed in a different spot depending on which item I want to look at.
Equipment bid,
Equipment
that's
bid.
key.
Okay, I have equipment bid also online. All right, so we do have a disposal of, I'll go with this one. We have a disposal of surplus equipment. The same person has bid on all three items. Brandon Simmons has bid $25,000 on the 2001 Volvo wheeler truck. And then we're disposing of two sidewalk plows. One is the 2003 trackless sidewalk plow, which is $1,850. And the other is the 1996 trackless sidewalk plow. And the bid for that is $550. So we need three separate motions on each piece of equipment. So the first is on the $25,000 for the Volvo truck. Would you like to make that motion?
I move to approve as written.
Okay. Seconded by Tracy. Thank you. All those in favor? Take the money in. Then we have the 2003 trackless sidewalk plow. That's for $1,850. Motion to approve that. Joel, and seconded by
Second.
Jane. Thank you. All in favor of that? And then the last one is the 1996 sidewalk plow, and that's $550. Motion to sell that one. That's done.
I just want to say that is, it's just a parts machine. It's
Yeah.
not a serviceable machine.
It's not a workable.
There's a reason that's a low number, and I spoke with Jeff on all these bids, and he's happy with those prices based on
It's
the
only
condition.
29. It's only 29 years old. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Just getting broke in. Right?
Sorry. Tom, could I, not on that machine, but the one before, I just wanted to clarify, sorry. We were keeping that to help mow, but the skid steer is now taking that,
We still-
mowing
we
the
still have a-
dam.
We still have a backup,
Yeah,
still have a backup sidewalk machine.
okay, that's.
So we, yeah, even with disposing of these two, we still
Right,
have
good.
two that are actually.
Move them out.
Yeah. All right, so I need a motion on the $550 for the older Tracy. And Joel, thank you. All those in favor? So no more pieces of equipment down on East Main Street. Okay. good.
Not until next time.
Until the next one comes, so. All right, item C, we have a proposed agreement between the town and Charles McMahon for an EMS study and prepare a report for our transporting license application. And you want to speak to that, Brian?
Yeah.
So what this contract is, when we first started this process last year, I wouldn't say we went into it blind, but the state of Maine Board of EMS made some legislative changes that we didn't know were coming in June of last year. This new legislation went into place, and what it's basically saying is if another ambulance service wants to come on board to another area that's so like Northern Lights primary, and all we want to do is supplement when they're unavailable, you can't just go ahead and get your transport license anymore. And, the town of Glenburn just went through this, and the town of Rockport. So basically what the state is saying, you have to have a consultant come in, do the needs of the call volume, the response times, basically take the whole picture of what's going on, and then they'll present their facts to the state of Maine EMS board, whether or not another service is needed in this area. So we have to do this. We can't opt out of it. We can't get out of it. So if we want to continue to move forward with our original plan, this is something that we have to go through. So we found a third-party consultant that Glenburn has used and Rockport has used, and both have been successful in being granted their license. So that's the contract in front of you. And we've had our, I guess, second town attorney review the documents and make sure they need to be right where they're at. So,
The Protection Committee has
And
reviewed.
this has come to the
this.
Protection Committee. Actually, we have been collecting most of the information this feasibility study
Yeah.
will uncover, and I believe the committee is very supportive.
Yes.
Yeah, we do, and this is again, just, we have to prove that there is a need for this change.
Yep.
Yes, Emery.
What if the consultant or the state rejects our need? Where are we then?
so we talked about that, and I'm not being optimistic and saying they're gonna reject it, but in the standpoint that they find that we may fall short for this, we're basically in the same standpoint without transporting. We'll still have hopefully our ALS agreement, we'll have better equipment, better staffing. So we're prepared for if it starts to fail again in the future, we'll go right back to the study again and do it again. We're gonna be in a better situation no matter what comes out of this study. We all have good feeling that the study is gonna show there is a need for a supplementary service. But if it shows that there's not, our department in town's better off. We'll be at least able to operate at the ALS level with cardiac monitors, IV drugs that people need while we're waiting for another service. But we'll be, like I said, and then down the road, if it starts to get bad again, we'll go right back into it. Everything will, I don't know what I'm trying to say, the plan's in place, like hopefully we'll continue, so we won't be out anything actually, so. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and present the facts, and that's what this gentleman's gonna do. That's his job, so.
Cindy.
It may have been in our packet and I missed it, but what's the timeline for this study?
So, our EMS director, Eric Millier, had spoke to them, and he's hoping to start soon because he wants to present it to Maine EMS or get it back to us before February 21st. So we can get on the March agenda down in Augusta, so it doesn't delay. So usually it depends on how much information he needs to look at, but it sounds like 30 to, so Glen Burns, he did within about a month. Rockport took a little longer, but what I read in the paper, Rockport completely took over. The service they were paying, they no longer, so the town of Rockport's physically taking over as primary, so maybe there was a little bit more involved in theirs. So we're hoping about a month. That's our goal. So.
Any other comments on this? Brian, I'd like to thank you and also Eric and Chief Burns for being proactive on this. I mean, we've got a problem. So the problem does not go away if you put your head in the sand on it. The problem goes away if you do something about it.
Yeah, and I'm sure the board's well aware what happened in northern Maine last week where the woman lost her life because there was no ambulance service to respond to the call. So it's just not a Dover-Foxcroft issue. It's a statewide, nationwide issue, so.
Yeah, and if you have a 911 system and no one answers the call in and you don't really have an emergency system, so I give a lot of credit to the fire department for seeing that need and doing something about it. And I would be stunned if it's not approved, although I've seen instances in the past where things have happened, Bill.
And to point out, again, the whole point has been to supplement it. There's never been an intention where the town has one and two step in and take primary. We're trying to fill a gap. And we hope that everybody hears that loud and clear that, you know, we didn't just wake up and say, yeah, let's launch an ambulance service. Can't be that hard. Nope, and it's expensive. So there's a way to do this. And I'm very glad that we have proactive people that are trying right now to help us bridge that gap because our loved ones are here. This is our town. And we know sometimes the way things go, it's going to be like this. But if we can find a way to work with Northern Lights, great, and come up with a solution, that would be the best for everybody.
Yeah, all said. All right, so we have a consulting agreement between the town and Charles McMahon, got a chance to read that, so I just need a motion to, accept that.
I move that we accept the contract
All
and
right,
pursue.
and Tracy will second. Further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Good luck, Brian.
Yeah.
All right, now we got the big one here. Application for the pole location permanent for Matthew Hanscom. This is, involved placement of 3 poles on the Chandler Road, starting at the corner of Orchard Road. So pretty routine, motion to approve that.
Motion to approve is written.
Joel?
Second?
I'll give joint credit to
Yeah,
Jane.
those- there you go.
People always go, well, why do you have to approve the poll? They're gonna approve it anyway, yeah.
Can I ask that question? Why does it come to us?
Why does it come to us? Because, we're the ones that have to maintain the roads, right?
Yeah, so the municipality has to approve the location of the poles. And so what we like to do is, they put stakes on the ground, so you can actually go and see where they are.
Yeah.
And I talked to Jeff about this one. And he wouldn't mind going out tomorrow and just double checking, making sure that we like where the stakes are. So if the board's willing to approve this tonight and just note that, we'll let Jeff be authorized to sign it.
Yeah.
That way, if there was a glitch, we'd try to work it out with the company doing it and get a few feedback. If not, we'd bring this back to you. But I wouldn't want to hold this up for 2 weeks either. If you just give the caveat that Jeff's authorized to sign it, then we'll probably be able to sign it tomorrow.
And Jeff may find it's a little too close to the intersection, or it's a little,
Well, we
It's
just want
not
to make
far enough
sure, we
away.
just want to make sure that the plowing isn't
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be, 2 inches away from it,
Yeah.
that's all.
It's more about.
And based
placement
on-
Right away.
And based on the sketch, it's gonna be fine.
Hmm.
But sometimes the sketch and what you see,
Yeah.
it's worth just.
And that's a pretty narrow, really, really rural road.
Yeah, it is. It's-
Basically a driveway, isn't it?
It's kind of a cow path.
It's Saltina's Road.
Is that right? Are you in favor of the? both of them?
I wish it would go up to my house.
Here we go.
Take 3.
All right, so we got a motion in multiple seconds. All those in favor of you?
Is it a new house?
It's going to be, I think
Yeah.
it's going to be, yeah.
It's right now it's a shell at the moment. It's closed in and everything, but
All right, Jack, what do you have in your report for us?
Not a ton of stuff. We heard about the Mail Dam Review Committee
Mhm.
preparing for a public meeting on February 4th. Just to kind of report out to the public on its work thus far. And that committee will meet again tomorrow night here, I think it's 5:15, to plan for that. We are implementing the steps that go along with getting our warming and cooling centers available, and Alcina did some training for volunteer staff last week on, just the protocols that we adopted several months ago to how that will all work.
Can you or Alcina speak to, do we have enough volunteers? Are we still in need of helpers?
yeah, so we're still in need. This was kind of my guinea pig group, test group, for training. And we had 5 come because it was on a short notice, and also we had some dropping temps that in the event that we might have to open something in short notice. So we wanted to get the training done as quick as possible, so at least they were onboarded. But yeah, we could always use volunteers and just to build a bank of folks, because not everyone, it's not gonna be the same people every single time. We need people to help, so.
Yeah, it sounds like we need a lot of people.
Yeah, and there is, I was actually asked, to come. They're gonna try to get a group of like 30 or so. I said I could either do as little as 10. It doesn't have to be like a huge crowd, but I can come multiple times and do training.
And then the other piece I had was just a couple of grants that Alcina's been working on. One, she just submitted us to the Resilience Partnership for upgrades to our space down the hall, the community room for where it would be a warming and cooling center. And I think one of the items in there would be upgrading the heat pump. So that's kind of old and inefficient in terms of modern heat pumps. So upgrade that and some other items down there. And then also she's been working on a grant for some new playground equipment for Kiwanis Park. So that's something we committed to turning our attention to Kiwanis Park after we upgraded this playground. And I know Alcina's been working closely with David McDermott and Kiwanis on what that might look like and where the sources of funding might be to kind of round that out. This grant isn't particularly large enough, I don't think, to do the whole upgrade, but I think you could piece it together with a few grants like that.
Just a plan. It's a phase process.
That 75,000 or whatever, yeah, is that gonna be a match, or I heard you say it won't be enough, but is this just a start?
The 75 is, there's no match required. And that's for improvements down the hall. So
Oh, sorry.
the T-Mobile grant is, it was what,
It's
50?
it's a 50,000 and it's a no match as well.
That'll do it, Jack?
That's it.
Good. So we do have an executive session plan. We have, opportunity for closing remarks from members of the public. Do you have any thoughts? No, sure. Yes.
Nancy Matulis, Dover-Foxcroft. Talking about using the community room as a shelter type thing for people can go heat or cold. Do we have a generator here to run a heat pump? We do, okay.
Yeah, it's a big enough generator that we can pretty much activate whatever areas of the building we need. Pretty much runs the building.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No question? Anybody else?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, next is closing remarks by members of the select board then. Go ahead.
How often do we lose power in this building by storm?
We don't seem to lose it for extended periods of time. I don't think we lose the power here more than 2 or 3 times a year, and they're pretty brief. And I want to say an hour or less is typical. I think the longest power outage I can remember was maybe 2.5 hours, but that was in the summertime when I think a pole got taken out or something. But yeah, it's pretty infrequent.
Yeah, I was just seeing Pete replace that main transmission line coming into Dover-Foxcroft over 10 years ago. We really have been pretty immune to that, but yeah, well, depending on what kind of property. But it used to be routine to have 8-hour power out.
If we had drones back then, it would have been up sooner. I mean, there was one where it just took them like half a
They
day
have
to
to walk
find
through
where
the
the
snow.
break was.
That's true.
Yeah.
Drones.
I wanted to comment on what a valuable resource Kiwanis Park is.
Mhm.
And I'm really grateful that you're doing that work. When I was still employed, I used to walk from my office there. Sometimes I'd be on the phone with people and I'd think, well, you can talk on the phone and walk. And so I'd walk through Kiwanis Park and just see so many families there at lunchtime, picnicking, and it's just a lovely spot. So I'm glad we're gonna invest and continue to work on that. It's
Especially
great.
with the community center, the Catholic Community Center, getting back up with the, coming back from the Y closure, that's a nice synergy there between that structure and the open space.
Mm.
Any other thoughts? All right, I'll close that session. We need a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Title 1, 405, 6A to discuss some personnel issues related to the town manager's search. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll move into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title One, 405
Second. Second. Much.